Our closing keynote at the NCCE 2023 conference, Dr. Jason Neiffer. Hello, Jason.
Good afternoon, Mr. Augustinelli. It's really a pleasure to be here today, and I'm talking about one of my favorite subjects with you, which is the NCCE conference. And we're really happy that the committee asked us to kind of give you a little introduction to what's going to happen in Tacoma, Washington next week. And I'm really excited to preview a little bit about what my keynote will be about and talk about something that's been so important to both of us over the last 20 years as we've grown as teachers and technology, now administrators, and a little bit about the magic that is the MCC environment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. So with that, we'll pull up our slide. And again, a big welcome to all first-time attendees. We may have some attendees that have actually attended before, and we promise to give great information as well to you. But this really is a special presentation for our first-time attendees to really try to help set you up to get to maximize your experience at NCCE 2023 in Tacoma, Washington. We're excited to get there March 21st through the 23rd. And I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm really looking forward to a lot of our featured speakers and sessions and just the vibe of NCC. I think that's one of the things that, drew us in our earlier years when we were in the classroom and still wide-eyed, fresh new teachers, was the community that NCCE brings and the people there.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And so we're going to give a couple of different ways of looking at the conference. We have some very practical information to share. We'll also speak a little bit today about some of the special events that happen at the conference. And then, of course, we have some advice at the end about how to be a great conference attendee. So probably the number one question we get because of the nature of teachers that we get at this conference is, how do I get on Wi-Fi? So we work hard every year to make sure you have access to the internet. We would ask that you limit the number of devices that you put on the network, because you'll be probably not shocked to find out that when folks are engaging in several devices, that it can sometimes be a little challenging to serve in that particular environment. And there goes my slide. The Wi-Fi network at the Tacoma Conference Center is NCCE 2023, and the password is welcome to NCCE 23. We'll be pushing this out over several avenues throughout the 3 days at the conference, so you don't have to memorize that now. We would ask, however, that if you're the type of attendee, sadly like me and Mike, that comes with 4, 5, 6, a half dozen, 2 dozen devices, that you limit your time to make sure that we have enough broadband to go around. And we have done some testing there and have taken a close look at the space and believe that you'll have a wonderful Wi-Fi experience during your time at the conference. And I also want to talk more broadly for a moment about NCCE, because NCCE is way more than just a conference. And in fact, we are a comprehensive professional learning organization that serves really schools across the United States and beyond in how to become great classroom purveyors of technology in the K through higher education environment. Yes, we host the largest EdTech conference in the Pacific Northwest, but we also provide services well beyond the conference, including an E-rate, full-service E-rate environment. Eric Chambers, our E-rate director, in fact, is finishing up the fiscal year 23 E-rate applications right now. We've worked with dozens of districts across the region and across the United States to provide excellent E-rate consulting services to make sure you can get the maximum benefit from the E-rate program, no matter if you're in the largest school district in the region or the tiniest school district in tiny Western Montana. We can help you maximize that benefit for your school and district to make sure you're getting everything owed to you to help build a great technology infrastructure. But we're way more than just these services. We really are a year-round community of learners. Not only do we have services that we offer for free via our various social media platforms, we participate around the country in different EdTech events. We have training available for all age of learners and all contexts and situations in education, and we are very happy to work with you to find something to help you implement technology in the best ways possible. And we really hope that after the conference is over with, you go to our website, ncce.org, check out the available services available to you, and become an NCCE engager all year round.
So I wanted to spend a moment talking about our great board of directors here at NCCE. And one of the things that I've always loved about the conference is you will see our board of directors out in sessions and amongst all of you interacting. And I would highly recommend they will typically identify themselves even with a badge or with some piece ribbon on their name tag. So it's pretty obvious when you see a board of director walking around the hall. Introduce yourself, because the thing about the NCCE board of directors is they're teachers just like all of us, and they're passionate about education. And I know they love hearing from conference attendees and getting to know more about you, where you work, and what you do. One of the great things about NCCE is all the conversations that happen in the hall, and definitely look for that board of director folks as they're walking around, and strike up a conversation. They'd be happy, and I look forward to speaking with you. I also want to give a little plug for our blog. So as we said, Jason and I are the tech savvy team here at NCCE, and we do have a blog.ncce.org, and you'll find a variety of different types of posts. A lot of information this past year has been about all the amazing professional learning opportunities that NCCE is providing year-round, both virtually and face-to-face. And we really like to highlight the great work that's going on around the Northwest, of course, but around the entire country, as the professional learning team is everywhere in the United States and even sometimes international. And we love to highlight the great work that's happening, and most importantly, the great strategies that our professional learning team are helping teachers implement for student success. And so please join us at blog.ncce.org to check that out. And Jason will talk a little bit more about Twitter, but I also wanted to mention our handle at NCCE_EdTech is our Twitter handle, and we would love it. We promise we'll follow you back if you follow us. So please follow us and join in the conversation. It's a great way to keep the conversations going beyond the conference on those interwebs. So,
and hopefully you just get to find a bunch of Russian bots to follow us to get
right
back from the organization.
Exactly.
Speaking of social media, now more specifically to the conference, one of the magical things about an EdTech event is that you can find fellow attendees by using a hashtag on Twitter. And the official hashtag of the NCCE 2023 conference is NCCE23. We will keep an eye on the channel throughout the next really week or so to highlight great things that are going on at the conference, but also follow us on Twitter to get a sense of the action. We'll be posting photographs and other media throughout the week, and really hope to connect with you there. There's another way you can also say that you're coming to the conference to start conversations with others. Sure, you can use the hashtag, but we also have a badge available too if you want to download this and let folks know via social media that you're attending. You can actually get an access to this through the short link. ncce.link/badge will get you this graphic, which is hosted in the Google Drive architecture. But feel free to download this badge and share that you're coming to our wonderful event in Tacoma for no other reason than you can start making connections right now. And I can't stress enough that one of the great things about any conference, but it's particularly true about NCCE, especially with other like-minded EdTech advocates like yourself, is that it's a really good opportunity to connect with others via multiple means, including via social media itself. So feel free to download the badge and let people know that you're coming next week to Tacoma.
A couple events I want to highlight. First being the general membership meeting. One of the things that is important to know is that by your conference attendance, you are automatically given NCCE membership for the next year, which is a very cool benefit built into your registration. Additionally, on Thursday, on the third floor ballroom from noon to 1 is our general membership meeting. And this is a really important event or an hour to spend with NCCE, as you'll have the opportunity to hear from future board members make their pitch about why they would like to join the NCCE board. We then, after the conference is over, will hold our elections and go through the election process and then elect our future board members. But it really is a great opportunity to hear from fellow educators like yourself and think about, who do you want representing you in all of the different positions on the board. Board positions are very important and set the direction for any organization, and your attendance would be very welcome. And usually there's some things given away at the general membership meeting too, hint, hint. So you can maybe able to score some pretty sweet swag. So if you can and it fits into your schedule, please join us on Thursday from noon to 1. I also wanted to highlight our opening keynote. We are so excited to have Joe Dombrowski, Mr. D, join us as our opening keynote on Tuesday at 9 a.m. on the third floor ballroom. I think the cool thing about Joe, if you're not familiar with him, is, first of all, he's a hilarious comedian, but more importantly, he has been in the classroom, and he just brings a real great combination of storytelling and humor to the fact that he gets it. He gets what it's like to be a teacher. I can't wait to laugh with all of you and enjoying the fun that Joe, I know, is going to bring to the 9 o'clock opening keynote. Definitely something you will not want to miss.
And as Mike mentioned earlier, it's my real pleasure to be the closing keynote at this year's conference. And I'll be giving an address on Thursday that is about artificial intelligence and the role of teachers in kind of future learning environments. I'm really excited that Mike will be featured in that presentation as well, both introducing me and being part of the presentation. That's going to be Thursday at 9 a.m., also in the third floor ballroom. And I want to give you a little preview about what my address will be about. It's really exciting for me to be in front of teachers, administrators, teacher librarians, IT directors, and other folks interested in the ed tech topic, because, and I don't say this very often, but the technologies that are starting to evolve in just the past couple of months will have a profound impact on the classroom. And I think it's really has been, since the internet, there hasn't been a technology that I think will have a bigger impact on classroom environment than the generative AI technologies that are seem to be evolving very quickly. And not only will I speak about this a little bit and the role of teachers in the classroom once generative AI becomes a big thing in K-12 education, but also I'll have a presentation later that day about what you can do now to kind of prepare for the coming onslaught of AI and productively figure out a way it fits into your teaching environment. Obviously, this being our first face-to-face since the pandemic, and I will say, ironically enough, that my last presentation face-to-face in NCCE was the first timers meeting in 2020 in March, before I left the conference, in part because of I'm an immunocompromised person. In fact, I'll be wearing a mask during most of next week as well. But the bottom line is that it's a really wonderful kind of full circle opportunity for me to be in this environment. And I will tell you that I I think I've got some interesting things I'd like to share with you on that day and tell you a little bit about where I think these technologies are going. But it's a real opportunity to, in both the opening and closing keynote, be able to hang out with your colleagues, listen to some views that may challenge the way that you think about environments. And we are very, 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 very excited to be able to speak with you in this context during the conference. I also want to note that the exhibit hall will be open, and I want to talk to you for just a second about exhibit halls, because they are way more important than you perceive they probably are. One of the most important things about the exhibitors and the excellent companies we work with to help bring you this conference is they help keep the cost of the conference lower than it would be otherwise. And we know sometimes that you may not necessarily be interested in a certain company's product, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't give an opportunity to hear some of the great things that are happening on the exhibit floor. And we will have the exhibitor hall will be open on Tuesday and Wednesday, starting in mid-morning and ending at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, 3 p.m. on Wednesday. We also strongly encourage you to visit the exhibitor hall blitz during the lunch hours on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not only will there be vendors there to help you eat lunch, but it's a really wonderful time to meet with exhibitors and find out more about their wares. And something that I can tell you that's very true in the last 15 years of attending NCCE is that some of the relationships that I have today with vendors that is much benefit to my program. And I think we didn't mention this earlier, but Mike and I help run the state virtual school in Montana, the Montana Digital Academy. And a lot of those relationships were forged well before we were in our current jobs and roles. And in fact, some of the vendors that we work with will be at the NCCE conference. And it's an exciting time for us to have an opportunity to pull them aside and talk a little bit about our relationship and how we work together to serve kids. I will also encourage you, there's lots of opportunities to engage with vendors too that are offering door prizes. You should take a look at that. There will be an opportunity to drop off raffle tickets at exhibitor booths to win really great prizes in the conference itself. And we would strongly encourage you to engage with these wonderful, wonderful sponsors of the conference. Also, take a close look throughout both the conference hall and our social media assets. We have tiered sponsors that have provided resources to help make the conference better, that are there for you to help build relationships, to deliver better ed tech integration into classrooms in your school and district. And the exhibit hall really is a very important part of the conference experience, and we encourage you to engage appropriately.
Hey, Jason, before we move on, I want to make sure to share one of our pro tips that we have used for over 20 years now at exhibit halls across the country. Anytime we're at a conference, Jason and I have this great competition of who can score more pens as we go around through the vendor hall, because you know what? Vendors love to give out pens, right? And so I think it's just a wonderful opportunity to get a lot of extra writing utensils in your classroom. So I imagine that at some point you'll probably see Jason and I working our way through the exhibit hall. And if you watch closely, we're very smooth with our acquiring of the pens, but it's definite pro tip that you'll want to bring back. You'll never have to buy a pen again if you're smart about it.
And I also like a good sticky note as well.
There you go.
Notes make the world go round. So, okay, well, the last thing we want to talk about, and we'll spend a couple minutes here, is that first, I want to let you know that there are a couple resources that you can start with before the conference to take a look at the various offerings. The one that's available right now is the website. If you go to ncce.org and click on conference, it can take you to the searchable program. And I always check out NCCE's detailed program before the conference itself. And it's so important to me to get a sense of where the hot topics are. I would also encourage you to take a look at multiple sessions that you might be interested in and vote with your feet. If you're going into a room and the presentation isn't meeting your needs, get up and go somewhere else. There's absolutely no reason for you to seal yourself into a room for the time of the session or a workshop. If it's not meeting your needs, then go elsewhere. That's totally okay. And really seizing control of your learning at the conference. We also have a conference app available via Groupio, which is available on both the iOS and Android platforms. We're still working on getting updates pushed to that. We anticipate it'll be ready on Sunday. So feel free to take a look at the Groupio app as well, which is a wonderful way to also plan your conference experience. But I think taking a look at the sessions beforehand, when you're traveling to the conference, or once you get there and the night before in the hotel, or even when you're drinking your coffee on Tuesday morning before you engage with the conference, I think that's a really important way to get a sense of what's going on there, and find sessions you might be interested in. I can also tell you that I've never gone to NCCE and knew exactly what I wanted to see, because there's always something interesting going on. You may hear about a great speaker, you may hear about a great topic. I know from our conference planning that AI has suddenly become a really important topic, and there will be several sessions there, fresh sessions from experts and speakers from across the United States that can help you better understand that. But don't stay too static. I think it's important to see everything ahead of time, but you'll get a sense of where the conversations are at that you connect into, that you can help become a really wonderful part of the conversation throughout. So Mike, for just a couple minutes, when was your first NCCE?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I think my first one was actually 2001.
Yep, that's it's funny because I was thinking about mine too. We were at that conference together.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other then.
We didn't know each other at all.
Yeah, that was 7 years before we were on each other's radar. But my first one was, I believe, 1999, and then I went to 1999, 2000, and 2001 before I took a little bit of a break. But this has to be my 15th or 16th NCCE conference. And one of the things that I think is really important is that, especially if you haven't been here, but is really true of any event like this, is that I think there are some strategies you can use to get more out of it. So I'll give you an example of this. Hanging out outside the room after the presentation's over with couldn't be more important, because I think that some of the best conversations I've had at NCCE weren't in the sessions, although you can get a lot of wonderful pieces there, but in the conversations before and after the sessions, whether it's at the table or in the hallway, I think it's really important. And I will say that I know it feels awkward to walk up to someone you don't know and say, I want to talk to you, or I heard you say something, tell me more about that. But I would say that of any event I've ever been to, the friendliest people are at this conference, and they're eager to talk to you about what their expertise and what your expertise is.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think back to those early days for me, I mean, I'd been teaching for a little bit, but I remember to your point earlier, Jason, about like trying new things. I went into a session that was on this thing called Moodle, and I think it was 2002 that I went, and I sat in this session and kind of just had my mind blown about like, what is this learning management system thing? And this seemed kind of interesting or whatever. And it sparked my interest. And then I started playing around with it. Who knew, over 20 years later, I'd be working with Jason in a online school where we happen to use Moodle. And so you never know kind of the connections you're going to make or where learning opportunities are going to take you. But I couldn't agree with Jason more. The people at NCCE are so friendly. It really does feel like a family, and people really do want to talk with you. Jason and I love it when new people come up and know us from the blog or from Twitter or online or whatever. And we just want to connect, right? Like, I think connection right now and in this time as a teacher, we need community more than ever. And there's a lot of people that come to NCCE that, care about kids, care about the profession, and really want to do right for the profession. So build that network of people, and you'll be better off for it, for sure.
And then a couple of other hints too. I always bring a business card to NCCE because it's a real opportunity to connect with people later. I realize we're talking to you, just a few short days before the conference. If you don't already have a business card, and this would be an idea for the future, I can literally recommend dirt cheap business cards on the internet for you. Back channel me, and I'd be happy to tell you where I get the cheapest cards online. I have both a professional business card and a personal business card. And it's really important to me to, connect with people afterwards. And that's a great place to do it, right? It really is an important opportunity to connect with people later. One other strategy that Mike and I use when we have multiple people, either friends of ours that are attending, or if we're attending with colleagues from our organization, is that we'll sometimes create a shared Word document or a shared Google document that we can take joint notes in. And in fact, there will be a couple members of our staff, our day job staff at NCCE next week. And one of the things we'll do is take notes in a joint document so that not only can I see what's going on in the sessions that I'm missing, but it's an opportunity to go back later and see what things people are seeing to ask questions later. I think that's an important strategy as well. And also, you'll be surprised, honestly, what you can do if you introduce yourself to someone or have a conversation with someone in the hallway. It may not impact you right away. Mike mentions that. Imagine for a moment, Mike, if we had met in 2001 and not
so funny.
2008. In light of how much work we've done together and projects we've worked on. But I think it was in 2001 that I first ran into Heidi Rogers. And who has become an incredibly impactful person in my life. And we had we knew each other, we knew each other's names, we would see each other at the conference, and later down the road, that ended up becoming an extraordinarily important part of my professional career and one of the most impactful people I've ever met. That's an example of the networking that can happen at NCCE.
I would just recommend power management is a big thing, right? Like if you have battery packs or extra juice packs for your phone and tablet and whatever, laptops, bring those. That's helpful. I'll also tell you a great trick to make friends. They make some compact extension cords and power strips. You have something like that to you make friends real quick if you can extend one power port to a couple of other people. But definitely, think about the power management there. There's nothing worse than having your laptop die at 2 or your phone die at 2. So bring some backup power there.
Wear good shoes.
Wear good shoes. Yep.
In fact, I made the mistake. I think it was like at NCCE 2007, if I remember correctly, that I was teaching in Helena then, and I decided to wear a pair of shoes that I had never worn before. They were like brand new shoes and like squeaky shoes. They were so new, and my feet hurt so badly at the end of the 3 days. Wear good shoes. I will also strongly recommend, and this is a Mike Agustinelli tip, bring a water bottle with you too, that whenever you have an opportunity to fill up on water, you
never leave home without it.
And remember, it is a 3-day experience, and that it's a lot of walking to sessions and getting in and out of the exhibit hall and finding meals at different times of the day. That's all an important part, I think, of the experience, is remembering that it is a lot of connecting with your colleagues, but it's a lot of walking, and it's a physical event as much as it is anything else.
Yeah. Bring a hood. It tends to rain in the great state of Washington a fair amount in the spring. So rain jacket's always smart too, from getting from place to place. I was just looking. I think we're...
No, I've been keeping an eye on this. It's going to rain. So
it's going to... Okay. Boom. Yeah. Thank you, Jason. So and bring a rain jacket, bring a hood.
Yeah, I think that's important too. Now, us Montanans, right? Let's be clear. This is going to be like spring, summer weather to us. So we're real excited that I can go without a parka for a couple of days, but I will be bringing a rain jacket.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for listening to us talk a little bit about our favorite event of the year. If you have additional questions, you can always ping us on Twitter. And we're happy. In fact, asking questions is great because we can answer to a larger audience.
Yeah.
Feel free to pick up. Feel free to approach us. And that sounds weird to say it that way. Come introduce yourself to us at the conference itself. We'll be around. Our 30 and 50 presentation is on Wednesday. My closing keynotes on Thursday. I will also have a presentation on AI at the end of Thursday.
Jason, we got our first question that just came in. Is there a way to confirm the sessions you have registered for? I thought I registered when I joined, but I've not received any confirmations. I think probably the key here is the designation between sessions and workshops, right? Like sessions throughout the conference are wide open, right? So there's no registration needed for sessions. Workshops do have limited space. We have a couple in NCCE staff I know that are watching this. If anybody has a quick answer to, please add that to the chat. Otherwise, Heidi will have your name down here on the video and we'll make sure somebody gets in contact with you to answer your question more directly. Any other questions from the live audience right now that we can answer or pass off to the other NCCE staff?
Well, whether you're watching this live or on the archive later, we thank you for your time. We're so excited to get together with you all next week and feel the energy of this wonderful event. Have a great weekend. We hope that you have safe travels to the Seattle Tacoma area. We look so forward to seeing you at the Tacoma Convention Center next week, and we're just so excited. So thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Can't wait to see you all there. Travel safe. Take care.